Hello everyone, and welcome to Fixing Disney Star Wars. This is the final episode in our commentary series for the Senate cut of The Last Jedi. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us as we attempt to build a better Episode 8. Please don't forget to subscribe, like our videos, and leave us comments so that we can place higher in the YouTube algorithm. And also, please let us know what you like or didn't like about Episode 8. If you like our work, please consider joining our Subscribe Star. Subscribe Star is a membership platform similar to Patreon, but it respects creators' freedom of speech and expression. We're about human rights here, and in a time where people all around the world are being increasingly censored, it's important to us as a team that we support companies that are supporting the rights of people around the world. On Subscribestar, you'll find exclusive content, new videos, commentaries, VFX and audio tests, and more. All the funds raised via Subscribestar go directly to helping fund our edits. The link is in the description if you'd like to help us. And now, with the intro out of the way, let's get to the commentary. We actually start this week off with a portion we forgot to mention in last week's episode, and this is about a scene which takes place as the Falcon draws the TIE fighters away from the main battle before entering the cave system during the Battle of Crate. As the Falcon draws the TIE fighters away, Poe says, quote, "She drew them away, all of them." But we've removed this clip with Poe because the audience was just shown the Falcon drawing away the TIE fighters. It's a useless bit of exposition that tells us something we already know, and it hinders the momentum of the battle sequence. While in the cave system, the Falcon brushes up against the cave wall, and there's a shot of the camera zooming into Rey as she yells Chewie's name. And we've removed this small clip as well, because this camera technique, much like the JJ-isms we see in The Force Awakens, doesn't fit the camera style seen in the other 6 films. And as we often say, we're striving for consistency between these films and the Lucas-era films. While we're in this sequence, we need to give credit to Ivan Ortega for his absolutely awesome edit handling Finn's attempted suicide mission to take out the First Order cannon. The editing he completed is flawless, and it's a much better narrative in our opinion than the original cut, where Rose crashes into Finn to stop him. It makes Finn's actions here somehow more noble, and it also reduces the dislike for the character of Rose Tico, ever so slightly. And now, moving on to this week's fixes, we come to the scene where the distress signal from Leia is being sent out to other factions of the Resistance while inside the base on Crate. In the original cut, Leia sends out the request for help, and even though it's received at multiple locations, no one responds. But we never see this type of behavior from a Rebel or Resistance group anywhere else in the series. The Rebels always answer their call, ever loyal to their friends and mission, and fellow members. Even in Episode 9, a massive armada of Rebel cruisers arrive at the last minute to do battle with the First Order above Exegol. So the sequence doesn't make sense in terms of the Star Wars universe. To mitigate this issue, we've added new dialogue. After Lieutenant Connix says that the signal has been received at multiple locations, but there's no response, C-3PO will say, "The First Order must have intercepted and encrypted the transmission. It's been received, but they can't read it." In this way, we have an explanation for why no one comes, while also making the First Order look more intimidating by showing their ingenuity to beat the Resistance at their own game. Shortly thereafter, Luke enters the base and reunites with his sister. In the original cut, Leia says, "I know what you're going to say. I've changed my hair." And Luke responds with, "It looks nice that way." Now, don't get us wrong, this is a very sweet moment between the two twins, and at any other point in the film, it would have been a welcome addition. But we need to remember the context of this scene. Luke has been exiled for years, riddled with guilt over not being able to save Ben from the dark side. Well, in our cut anyway. He's been cut off the Force, and as soon as he turns it back on, he senses that his sister and the Resistance are in danger, and decides to act, sort of anyway, in spirit. When Luke arrives, no one can hear their distress signal, the First Order is beating down the entrance to the base, there's very little time left. Luke came to distract the First Order, but he can't do that if he's wasting time. We have to remember that Leia understands Luke's responsibilities as a Jedi, and his responsibility to fight the dark side and those in it. After all, Leia trained to be a Jedi herself. So, in our cut, Luke arrives, and Leia says, "I know what you're going to say." Luke replies with, "I'm sorry," and Leia says, I know you are." Leia deep inside knows that Luke is there to face her son and potentially destroy him, and it's breaking her heart. She loves her brother and she loves her son, But here at this point in the story, the audience is left to wonder if one of them will die, and if so, who? But either way, Leia loses. This is an emotionally heavy moment, and it's because of the respect for this sequence and this moment and these characters that the hair joke has to be removed. In the same sequence, after Luke says, "No one's ever really gone," he hands Leia the dice that were hanging in the Falcon during Episode 4, A New Hope. For some reason, Disney has tried to make Han's dice a thing ever since they bought the franchise. They didn't matter to Han in the original trilogy. He never showed any sort of sentimental feeling to them, ever, apart from in the Solo film. And moreover, if they are sentimental to Han, it's because of their significance to Kira, not Leia. The dice was a memento shared only between Han and Kira as far as we know. So it's a bit disrespectful to Leia's character to give her the jewelry that was the special bond or special memento to her dead husband's ex-girlfriend. It's kinda weird, right? So to fix this, all shots of the dice have been carefully edited out. Now, after Luke tells Leia that no one has ever really gone, he holds her hand, kisses her head before leaving, and it's much more respectful goodbye for the twins in our opinion. Moving along, as Luke walks out to face down the First Order, Kylo says, "I want every gun we have to fire on that man. Do it." We've removed the "do it" line because there's only one guy in Star Wars that owns that line, and it isn't Kylo. During the barrage of fire, Hux tells Kylo that that's enough. And we've removed this line because, at this point, Kylo is the supreme leader of the First Order, and it's no longer Hux's place to tell Kylo what to do. Also removed is Hux's "do you think you got him" line, because it's more unnecessary comedy and a scene where Kylo is showing how emotionally vulnerable he is when faced with his uncle. It's a really important moment for Kylo as a character, and so the focus needs to stay on him. Returning to the rebels trapped in the cave, C-3PO tries to tell Poe the odds of escaping alive, and even after Poe tells him to repeatedly shut up, C-3PO can't help himself and he completes his sentence. We've removed C-3PO's continued response though, because it now shows 3PO understanding the severity of the situation they're in and the seriousness of Poe. It allows Poe a moment to take command, which helps to build up his authority in front of his men, who are watching and listening to what he says and what he does. And in this same sequence, we've also removed Finn's "where's the crystal critters" line, because, again, it's silly dialogue that takes away from the seriousness of the moment. We've also added the track "Love, Pledge, and the Arena" from Episode 3, where Anakin storms the Jedi Temple, and the sequence where Ren enters the Rebel base. This is because this scene is a deliberate homage to the scene where Anakin storms the Jedi Temple in Episode 3. In this way, we're tying both grandfather and grandson together musically while they engage in similar actions. And, of course, we've also added VFX to the Skywalker lightsaber at the end of the film so that the crystal looks cracked. And this cracking will affect how the lightsaber reacts in the next film. Our final shot of the film will be entirely new, and will be comprised of multiple locations, both new and old, while the Emperor's message announcing his return echoes throughout the galaxy. Our goal is to show the worlds of Kamino, Naboo, Coruscant, Bespin, Tatooine, and potentially Corellia while this sequence plays out. We'll be hiring actors for green screen work for this sequence, as well as potentially hiring an actor to tease Palpatine's appearance in the next film. And if we can pull it off, it's going to be quite the sequence to see. Well, that will do it for our final episode in the Senate Cut commentary series. What do you like most about The Last Jedi? What do you dislike? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to drop a like as well. Our Closure Cut commentary will be the next commentary series that we have up, but we'll probably take a few weeks break before jumping into that one. In the meantime, feel free to drop us a comment as we try to respond to everyone we can, or feel free to drop us a line at fixingdisneystarwars@yahoo.com. Until next time, may the Force be with you.